Good evening everyone. What we are going to study today is thyristor family and power transistor. Okay. So first we start with the contents. We are going to have introduction about thyristor, their family. Then we have silicon controlled rectifier, that is known as thyristor. Then it's two types, triodes, diode, and then we are having power transistors, and then we will talk something about IGBT and their real life experimentations and applications. Okay, our objective is to understand the power electronic devices and what are they doing in our day-to-day life intervals. Okay, first of all, let me tell you that power electronics are used in high power semiconductor. That is, when are we going for a particular amount of high voltage, let's say when we are having a particular DC voltage or we are using a particular electronic device in a regular day-to-day life, we are using mostly 24 volt at the maximum. When we talk about high power conductance or high power semiconductor, then we talk about like 220 volt and that goes up to 11 kV, 75 kV and then beyond it. Okay, at that place we use power electronic devices. Why we use this? To have a better switching speed. Sorry. Construction. Okay, yeah. To have better switching speed, and they are very smaller in size, so they can be placed at many places, and their production cost is also very low. Okay. So what we are having, they are subsequently SCR, triac, diac, and then power transistors. And the power transistors are of two types mostly, and their combination is IGBT. Okay, we will discuss them in the similar manner from now on. Okay, from the first we will start with the SCR. So for the SCR, introduction is that this is the most popular device that is used for conducting in half wave, full wave or other controllers, and it is mostly working in either forward conducting mode or in a reverse blocking mode. The SCR uses very high power. I mean, you can use it at very high power devices places, and SCR is mostly used in SMPS, that is switch mode power supply, that is used in your computers. In a computer you already supply only AC power from 220 volt, but the whole CPU contains only electronic devices that works on 12 volt. So SMPS does one thing, that it converts from 220 volt to the 24, 12 or 5 volt that is required in the switching boards or the CPU boards, and there the SCR is mostly used. Okay, a diac is combination of Shockley diodes. I'll discuss it when we use it, diodes. And the triac is a combination of two SCRs connected anti-parallel. Okay, and the anti-parallel devices, one of them is UJT, and this is the device that is used in switching. When we say switching, when the switching devices are SCR, but how to switch SCR, that is also a thing. So when we are switching SCR, we are using UJT to switch it on. Okay, that also we will cover in the end. With the SCR, this is the symbol. This is just like the diode, but having one gate also. Okay, the silicon controlled rectifier or the semiconductor controlled rectifier is a two-state device that we know that it states either on or it remains in off state. Okay, and SCR is a primary or the parent member of thyristor family and is used in high power electronics, and its construction features, everything is now available in the next section. Okay, this is the construction section. SCR contains three junctions, namely J1, J2, J3, and it is a PNPN construction diode. Okay, we have talked about what is a P junction, what is P, what is N. Then when we have talked about diode, now you can see this is just how diodes may be connected, but we will talk about how its construction is actually made. So it is a PNPN or NPN-NP device, and it is terminals are blocking the current till we apply gate to turn all the junctions on in the forward bias. Okay, the two SCR states that I already talked about are high current low impedance, that is on state, and low current high impedance, that is off state. How it is so? When we are saying high current is only flowing when the whole three junctions are in forward bias, and then the resistance of the whole device is very low. That is why we say that it has low impedance, and on the reverse we say it has high impedance. The basic transistor is of a 4-layer, that we are saying there are 4 layers, P, N, and it is analyzed with 2 terminals only, that is anode and cathode, and the third terminal is control input. When we are controlling it, we are using gate to control it. Okay, so how it is physically operated and how this characteristics is formed, I will talk about this characteristics in just few minutes. First of all, just let's see the physical operation of it. Okay, what we have done actually is we have connected here SCR. Okay, the SCR is here. Right now there is only one power source for anode. Okay, sorry, there is one power source for anode and cathode and one power source for gate, and this gate source is also used through a switch. Okay, now when we are talking about its characteristics or we are drawing its IV characteristics, we need to understand that there are 3 types of conducting modes of SCR, namely reverse blocking mode, forward conduction mode, and forward blocking mode. Okay, and after this we say let's talk about forward bias. Okay, forward bias means I have applied positive voltage on anode and negative voltage on cathode. We can also say that cathode is negative with respect to anode or anode is positive with respect to cathode. All 3 sentences state that they are in forward bias. Okay, now in forward bias there are 2 modes. First is forward blocking mode and the third is forward conducting mode. Okay, this forward blocking mode also let it remain in the off state, but only in the forward conducting state it remains in the on state. Okay, so when this happens at a critical forward voltage Vp, the SCR switches from the blocking state to the conducting state. We also call Vp as VBO, that is voltage breakover voltage. Okay, and the forward voltage in blocking state appears across the reverse bias junction J2 as the applied voltage V is increased. Okay, it is saying that we have increased voltage on anode and cathode side, and the junction J2, that is in the middle, is getting reverse biased more and more if we increase the forward voltage. Okay, if we increase the voltage from anode to cathode as shown in next figure, it is very small after switching the forward conducting state and all 3 junctions are forward biased. The junction J2 switches from reverse to forward bias. That is what I mean when we are conducting from anode to cathode and I am increasing this voltage. Okay, the junction J1 is in the forward bias, J3 is in the forward bias, but J2 was in the reverse bias. So when we are increasing this potential, this J2 remains in the reverse bias, but at a certain time, after a certain time, when we have increased too much voltage, this junction J2 comes into the forward bias and conduction starts. Okay, that is called breakover voltage. Okay, this is also a model of SCR. When we say that it is a 2 transistor model, we cannot say that SCR is a 2 diode connected in a series manner. Okay, we say that SCR actually is a combination of 2 transistors connected in this manner. Okay, why is it so? Because when we are conducting elements, we are conducting at this place. Okay, we are controlling at this place, and these 2 places always have common places. Like if we are talking about base, it is coming from collector and when we are talking about collector, it is coming from its base. So both of these are responsible for turning each other on. Getting my point? We cannot turn on or off a diode. It is just starting and conducting. But when we talk about a BJT, there is a state when we can turn it on, or there is a time when the conduction starts. Okay. So there, in this manner, we have two currents, that is IC1, IB2, or IB1 and IC2, which are responsible for the conduction of both of these BJTs. Okay. That's why we always say that an SCR is two transistor model, but not two diodes that are connected in series. Okay. So when we talk about IV characteristics of the SCR, we first come on to the forward blocking state. Okay. Now this diagram will literally explain you how I was saying that the junction J2 is coming into the reverse bias and J1 and J2 are in the forward bias. As you can see, when I have applied a voltage from anode to cathode, this J1 is in the forward bias and this J3 is in the forward bias, but this J2 remains in the reverse bias, and because of that the thickness of the junction increases. This is what happens when a junction is in reverse bias, its width increases. Okay, that is what we have written here, that the applied voltage appears primarily across the reverse bias junction J2, and through the junction J1 and J3 are forward bias and the current is small. Okay, this is small current is known as forward leakage current. Okay, there is always a small current that is flowing from one point to another, that you can see this difference that you can see, this is the leakage voltage. Okay, now we come on to the forward conducting stage. What happens in the conduction is that when we have applied enough voltage, after that its breakover happens and this junction J2 comes into the forward bias. Okay, and as we can say, the value of alpha 1 plus alpha 2, or that you can say the value of these two junction forward biases reaches to a certain point, the amount of holes that are going inserted from this point and the amount of electrons that are getting inserted from this point overwhelms the junction J2 and it breaks to convert it into the forward bias. Okay, this process helps in the recombination in P2 and supports the injection of holes in N2. In the similar manner, the transistor action electrons injected at J3 and collected at J2. That's what I was saying, that we are injecting holes from this side and inserting electrons from this side. Okay, and this one, all the collections that is happening is at J2. Okay, see here we are talking about P2 and here we are talking about J2. Both are, this is at this place. Okay, the current through the device can be much larger. That is why we are seeing here that the current is increasing rapidly in a manner, but why is we are saying that the voltage is getting decreased? This is because just we learned that whenever there is a high current from a device, we actually mean that its impedance has been low. And when there is a low impedance across a device, its voltage across it decreases. Okay, that is as similar that when the resistance was very high just due to the J2 junction, and as the resistance decreases, the voltage also decreases. Okay. Now, when we talk about reverse bias, we have known about the forward bias. This section is complete. Now we talk about when we are coming into the reverse bias. Okay. So when we apply reverse bias, a small saturation current flows from anode to cathode. Okay, that is from anode to cathode one current flows, and that is called reverse leakage current. Okay, and what does this do? That holes will flow from the gate into P2 and the base of the NPN transistor due to positive gate current. Because we have applied positive gate current, holes will be flowing from this to this side, but it will form a reverse junction diode, reverse junction at at J1 and J3. Now it is not possible to break two junctions within a minute, okay, or within the limit of breakover voltage. it takes more voltage than that you have applied on this breakover voltage. Why? Because now you have two junctions to break. Okay, so always there is a reverse breakdown that happens after a certain amount of voltage that you have applied. Okay, so you can see from this point that holes will flow from the gate into P2, that is from holes it will insert it into the P2. Sorry, yeah, okay, sorry. The required gate current for turn on is only a few milliamps. Therefore, the SCR can be turned on by a very small amount of power in the gate. If you want to switch on the gate, you need to apply a little bit of voltage in the P2 region, and then it will turn on the whole device when it is in the forward state. Okay, not in the reverse state, when you are in the forward state. Okay, this is what happens with the figure when we are saying that we have applied a gate current. Okay, whether the gate current is 0 or higher than 0 is depicted by this IV characteristics. Okay, as you can see, when Ig is equal to 0, the voltage that is required to turn it on is very high. Yes, but when we are increasing Ig1, this voltage is very low. Okay, and even you can see that the leakage current also increases. This is because the current is flowing from anode to cathode due to the current from the gate also. So the gate current is also getting plus with the leakage current. That is why this current also increases. The more the gate current is, more the leakage current goes, but it turns the device quickly. Okay, so you can see I have increased from Ig0 to Ig1 and Ig2, and Ig2 is always greater than Ig1. What also happens is that VBO is getting decreased. Okay, these 3 points just depict that whatever I have said, that it requires more voltage to switch to the conducting state when the Ig is 0, and when the gate current is increased, SCR switches to the conducting state at a lower voltage, and this is because when Ig2 is greater than Ig1. Now, if we come to the simple applications of SCR, then SCR is able to handle thousands of amperes and volts. That is why we are using, or we are saying that we are having a power electronics or a power device, because it can handle thousands of amperes and thousands of volts. Generally, when we are using SCR, we are using it in a higher power electronic devices or power controlling or conversion mode. Okay, it can also be used as a surge protector. Now, what is a surge protector is whenever there is a high current from any place, like if you are having a line voltage and you are converting it from one place to another, like you are using transformer, and there is surge of current, there is a high amount of current that is flowing within a second, then it can also be used to turn on at that time and ground the whole current. Okay, that is what you do. You have a limitation of a current on in a wire. Okay, after that current, if there is a single amount of current applied, okay, for example, what we were seeing that Ig was equals to 0. Okay, we have applied a particular amount of voltage, but it is not able to switch it on because it is less than VBO. Okay, now if I increase the Ig, what happens? VBO decreases. Okay, so for the same voltage, it happens that if I have applied gate current, it will turn on. If I have not applied the gate current, it will not turn on. It can happen. So with the same thing happens in the surge protector. When we are applying a large amount of current in Ig, at the same voltage, the SCR will turn on and will ground the whole line. Okay, that is how you can say that it is a surge protector. Now the next 4 things are static switch. We are seeing that it can be directly switched, and it is a static because it is not using any mechanical device. Okay, second is in power control. You are using it to control power, as I just said. surge protection is explained, and power conversion is that you are using it to convert from AC to DC or anything else you want to AC to AC, AC to DC, or I mean DC to AC inverters. Okay, so what is actually happening in this place is that we are using it as a rectifier or an inverter, and you can already see that it is well known as SCR, that is where R is already known as rectifier. Okay, now we come to diode. Okay, the diode is combination of two diodes actually that are placed anti-parallelly. Okay, so diodes being unidirectional device, current I mean if you are using a diode, you are only having one direction of conduction, but when you are conducting using a diode, you are having bidirections, that is you can conduct from this place also or you can conduct from this place also. Okay, so we are joining two diodes in anti-parallel, that becomes a PNP, or you can say this manner. Okay, this is the symbol of diode. How it is working? The construction of diode looks just like what I have made here, that you are having one terminal, second terminal, they are both connected to N1, P1, N2, P2, N1. Okay, what happens is whether you have applied positive or you have applied negative, the junction will turn on and it will conduct. Okay, what happens here? As you can see, all three layers of PNP or NPN are equally doped in the diode, and whereas in the BJT there is a grading of doping. Okay, we all know when we are talking about BJT, there are three layers, that is P and P, but they are not equally doped. Hence, where the area is more, it becomes collector, between is base, and the last is emitter. Okay, but it is equally doped and they are lightly doped. Okay, so they are not higher amount of carriers, and the base is moderately doped also. Okay, this is in the BJT, but in the PNP or NPN diode, all are equally doped. The diode is also a two terminal BJT, which is a three terminal device, you can say like that. What happens is when you are conducting with the help of a diode, this is what it looks like. Okay, you say, sir, we are using diode but we are conducting in both the angles, then why are we using it? Okay, so we are using it to have this much level of blocking. Okay, if you are applying forward voltage, it is just not like that it will start conducting. You need to apply a particular amount of voltage to break over the front forward bias, and then it will start conducting as it was doing in the SCR. Okay, and in that manner from the forward it comes into the reverse also. Okay, what we were seeing in the reverse blocking mode in the SCR, that whenever we are applying a reverse voltage and when we apply more reverse voltage, it will break the whole SCR, but in this condition it will not break it, it will conduct, and it will conduct after a particular voltage or a manner. This is again a safety device that is used to save the other devices from conducting after or before a particular amount of current or voltage. That depends on whether the current is in this range or the voltage is in this range. Okay. Now, physical operation and characteristics is that diode has breakover voltages. Okay, on the both side you saw there are breaking over voltages. There is voltage symmetry, that is on the forward side or on the reverse side you have to apply the equal voltage. It doesn't matter if you have applied positive or negative like this, or you have applied negative and positive. Okay, it will conduct when there is a voltage of a equal level, either from this side or the left side. Okay, break back voltage again, that is from this side. Break over current, that I just told you, there is two things, either you apply a high amount of voltage or a higher amount of current. Okay, and lower power dissipation, just because it is having a very low amount of resistance after it starts conducting, there is a very lower power dissipation. Okay, although most diodes are symmetric in switching, asymmetric diodes are also possible. Okay, if you want some diode that will conduct or it will block in reverse mode more, you can make that also. It is not necessary that you make diode in a only symmetrical manner. Okay, typically diodes have a power dissipation from half to 1 watt only. Now we come to the triac. What happens is, when we are using diode, we are not able to control when it is getting switched on. We have fixed it, but we needed something so that we can control its conduction also. So in the same manner we were using SCR, we have developed triac. Okay, triac is made of triode plus AC. That is its symbol. Right now you can see it is same as diode but containing a gate. Okay, like in SCR there was a diode signal, the diode symbol, and it was containing a gate. In triac it is similar as diode, just containing a gate in the symbol. But when we talk about its construction, this is the whole construction when we are having N block and N block here, which starts conducting when we are applying particular amount of voltage to it. Okay, again it doesn't matter if we are applying positive or negative, because we have both holes and electrons from each side. Okay, a triode is also capable of conducting both directions, and thus the bidirectional thyristor with 3 terminals is widely used for controlling power AC circuits. Okay, what happens in AC, that it goes up and down, so it has both positive and negative within seconds, again, and 100 times in a second actually, when we are talking about 50 hertz. So what's actually happening is, you need a particular diode or particular device that can be easily turned on with either the positive or the negative voltage. Okay, so that's why we use triac. This is the construction actually how we make a triac, that we have whole area covered with gate, whole area covered with cathode, and the same with the anode. Okay, so when we are saying that we have applied gate, we have applied it to both the regions. Okay, we have applied it to the N3 region, we have applied it to the P2 region, and same goes into the anode and cathode range. That is why it is able to conduct in both the modes, whether you have applied a positive voltage or whether you have applied a negative voltage. Okay, and now this is what we have written, that depending upon the polarity of the gate pulse and the biasing condition, the main 4-layer structure that turns on by a regenerative process could be one of P1, N1, P2, N2, or these all the figures that have been shown in the figure 13. Okay, it's a mistake that it remained 8, it is a figure 13, it is the same thing. Okay, now what are the advantages of triac? It can be triggered by positive or a negative pulse. Okay, first thing. Second thing, there is a need of signal heat sink with a single large size. Okay, there are possibilities. If you are using diac, you need 2 heat sinks, but in a triac you need only 1 heat sink. And when you are talking about the protection, it can be used with a single fuse, which simplifies their construction. Okay, in diac mode you are conducting twice, so there is maybe a need of fuses, but with the triac you will only need 1 fuse. And within some DC applications, the SCR has to be connected in anti-parallel mode so that it can block the heavy voltages. Okay, what happens is, whenever you are protecting a particular device, you are putting a diode or a particular SCR just in reverse mode, so that if there is a high amount of voltage, it gets conducted through the SCR and not through the device. Okay, that we will cover when we are studying about more inverters and rectifiers. There I will teach you again how the SCR or any diode device is used in a parallel reverse voltage, and that is why where a triac can only work without any reverse blocking or any protection that is given by SCR or a diode. Okay, what are the disadvantages? The disadvantages of the Triac is that it has low ratings than SCR. You cannot use you cannot use Triac on a high power rating as you can use this SCR. Since Triacs can be conducted in the either direction, the trigger circuit is needed to be very carefully configured. Okay, you need to configure when you are going to apply the gate pulse because it can conduct in both the modes. Okay, so you need to remember that if I am having positive pulse, I need to conduct when in the positive pulse or in the negative pulse. Okay, when we were talking about only SCR, we knew that it is going to conduct in positive pulse, then only we are applying gate pulses. But when we are having both the conductions, we need to be very careful whether we want to cut the positive one, negative one, or both of them. Okay, while we are cutting them down, we will study further in our course. Okay, reliability of Triac is less than of SCR. That is very known thing, that if you are conducting in both the sides, the reliability decreases because it can be easily switched on. Simple applications you can use in simple speed control, food mixers, portable drills, lamp dimming and heating control, or zero voltage switching relay. Okay, zero voltage switching relay is when there is a AC waveform. If you have seen, it crosses zero many times. Okay, that is where we call zero crossing or zero voltage. At that point, you need to switch off relays or turn on things so that there is no current and no voltage, and due to that there will be no sparking. Whenever we are disconnecting circuit breakers or any circuit that is using a high voltage, we conduct a checking that when there is coming a zero voltage, only then we will disconnect it. Otherwise, if there is very high potential and you disconnect it, there is going to be a very high spark or an arc form. Okay, you can say like when you are welding, there is an arc formed and the metal gets melted. Okay, and that much heat can be produced in the circuit breaker also, which can break the whole circuit breaker. That is why it is needed to be switched off at zero voltage. There, this Triac is used to switch on the relay. Okay, and these are you can understand when you are applying for DC or AC motor and you are controlling its speed, you can directly conduct through your gate. Then food mixers and portable drills. Okay, whatever this is happening is a controlling part. Okay, so what we are saying actually here is let me tell you with this help of this thing. Okay, as you can see, when we are applying when we are applying IG, it is turning on much faster than it was turning on at a VBO, that is break over voltage. That is same as the SCR. Okay, so when we are applying gate pulses, we are actually turning it on with less amount of voltage. So we are actually controlling the output voltage also. Getting it? So when we are controlling output voltage, we are controlling the output whatever it is giving. For example, if I am giving a bulb or a motor, okay, both of them require a particular amount of voltage to be at their full rated thing. If I have given full rated to bulb, it will glow at its maximum. If I give a full rated voltage to a motor, it will rotate with its maximum speed. Okay, with full rated, if we are giving high amount of voltage, then it is reaching till its full value. If I am switching it, turning it on a bit faster, then the output that is reaching to it will become slower. Okay, how it becomes low and how it becomes high is a very good question, and it will come in the next chapter that we will study. So after this, we have studied the simple applications and we come on to the FET. Okay, you have learned about BJT, so I am not going to study again, I am not going to teach you again about BJT because you have studied more about it in the EDC class. So what happens with FET is that when we compare BJT, there is a collector, there is a base, there is a emitter, okay, and there is nothing else that can be drawn out of it. But when we talk about an FET, you have drain, you have gate, you have source, and you have a body. Let me tell you in the next few parts where we are going to have these four types, but it is the same analogous to a BJT, and FET is getting controlled more by voltage and less than by current. Hence, there are less losses in the FET because most of the losses are due to I square R. If you are reducing I to 0, you are reducing your losses to 0. Now, FET. FET is of 4 or 5 types. There are also many new types also there. Like if I am talking about MOSFET, JFET, MESFET, HEMT, MODFET. So these types are very rare and mostly the used are MOSFET and JFET. Even JFET has been reduced, only MOSFET is mostly used. Okay. Now the upcoming technology is working about FinFET and NanoFET. Okay. There are fins, that is when we talk about MOSFET, as you can see, there is a gate, there is a body, there is a drain, and there is a substrate. Okay. What happens in FinFET actually is that number of gates gets increased in a singular body. Okay. And in NanoFET this becomes very small. This becomes into the nanotechnology, and then that you will study in the forward, if you go into the MTech or you go into the forward advanced power electronics mode, there maybe you study about the FinFET and NanoFETs. Okay. In practice, body and sources are mostly shorted. Okay. Whenever you see, this remains shorted most of the time. Okay. You do not use body until and unless you require a high amount of control. Okay. And most of them are packaged like this: gate, drain, and source. Some of them will have a body part. So either you will disconnect the body part from the whole device, or you will short the body device with the source. Okay. Now, FET transistor, how does it work? This is what it looks like. There is a semiconductor, there is a plate, and there is a gate voltage. Okay. We are just telling you about how the conducting is working in this area. I am not telling you the whole area about drain and source. What we have already given here is only the gate part, how the gate is actually working. Okay. Here the P part or the N part will come. Okay. I will tell you the construction on the late plate. Right now what we are doing is actually we are providing a particular amount of voltage to this semiconductor whose carriers are just thoroughly spread in the conductor, but they are not in a particular line. Okay. They are not in a particular manner, they are not joined together. Okay. They are separated and are randomly placed in the whole semiconductor when we haven't applied anything. Okay. Now, why we are calling it FET, that is field effect? At the moment we apply the voltage, all these carrier charges start gathering at the plate and they start getting closed. Okay. And as soon as they are getting closed, this starts conducting. Till now, when we were having this plate switched off, it was not conducting and it was an open circuit at this place. Right now, when we have joined this starts conducting because there are charges on this plate that attracts all the charges on the upper plate, and this starts conducting. This is how a field effect transistor works. Okay. This is the function of FET, the field effect transistor. Now, how this FET is being organized in the semiconductor, that we are going to study in the further classes, in the further slides. Okay. So what is calling the field effect here is that the resulting field at the plates causes electrons to gather. Okay. This can also be in the reverse, that if we are talking about P type, it is holes which are getting gathered on the top surface. Okay. As an electron bridge forms, current starts to flow. We can also say as an holes bridge forms, the current starts to flow. Okay. Now we have talked how the gate works. These are the two configurations that are mostly used where junction FET is because you are having a junction between P and N. Okay, as you can see, I have applied drain and source here. I have applied gate voltage here. Sorry. Okay, and that helps in conducting from this to this side. And same in the MOSFET, what happens is this is connected here, and the formation of current, or sorry, the formation of bridge is at this point. Okay, now when we talk about its characteristics, what actually happens is when I have applied VGS minus VTH, okay, only then we are having this region of conduction. Okay, now what actually happens on the basic side is that if you have not applied anything, if you have just applied voltage at VDS, okay, you are applying voltage on drain and source, and there is no voltage source on GT, I mean on the gate, then there is no current flowing at the output. At the moment when we have applied the voltage on VGS, it starts conducting, okay, and it reaches to the saturation as soon as the amount of voltage that you have applied has been filled. Okay, now why we are using this increasing, or why the graph is going like this, there is a linear region, there is a saturation region. What is actually happening is when you are having like this, okay, there is your drain, there is your gate, and there is your source. Okay, let's take it on this only. There is drain, there is gate, and there is source. Okay, this much source is covering, this much drain is covering. When we are applying voltage on gate, the amount of bridge that is forming depends on the amount of voltage you have applied. Okay, that is easy. The more voltage I apply, the more field we get. Okay, so the more voltage I apply, the more width of gate we will have at this base also. The bridge that we are talking about will get thicker by the amount of voltage that we are applying over. Okay, so the VGS, as I increase, the thickness of this increases also, and this is where the linear region works, and that is why the saturation happens after the whole amount of current has started flowing. Okay, after a particular amount of time, this cannot be increased. This is the FET criteria, that it remains in the cutoff state when VGS is less than VTH. It becomes in the linear region that we just saw in the grooving region when the VGS is greater than VTH, but it is less than VGS minus VTH. Okay, but when the VDS is greater than VGS minus VTH, then it becomes a saturation region. Okay, so why it is happening? That IDS remains 0. Now in the linear region, what actually happens is transistor acts like a variable resistor controlled by VGS in this region. In this region, what is actually happening is it is working like a linear, it is working like a variable resistor. Whenever we are applying voltage of VGS, it is getting low or high. So you are actually maintaining its resistance here. But after you cross this portion, it becomes a constant current. Okay. Now this is just a particular between MOSFET and JFET I have given, that why we are using MOSFET and why we are not using JFET, because it has high switching speed, it can have very low RDS, that is from drain to source the resistance is very low even in the respect of BJT, and it is susceptible to ESD, that is if you are applying voltage to source and its drain, then there is also a possibility of there is a possibility of switching it off from ESD, and it is mostly used in power transistor. Okay, and JFET is mostly used in signal amplification. When you are applying signal or signal communication like you are using in mobiles, there are some places that JFET is used. Okay, this is how a power transistor will look like. It is same as you have seen in that diagram when we were discussing starting at the MOSFET. It is not like it is very big in size. It is same it is just having higher amount of doping, and it has higher handling capacity of currents and higher dissipation. Okay, it is working same as the normal power transistor. Okay, so why you use transistors? We use for it either switching, amplification, or variable resistor. I just told you how we are using it as a variable resistor. This is UJT. Okay, why we use UJT? I already told you, when we are trying to switch on SCR or we are trying to switch on triac, we use this to generate the gate pulse actually. Okay, why it is UJT? Because in the whole N junction or N substrate we are having this only amount of doping. Okay, so it is only having one junction which is controlling the current between these two. Okay, now you can see, sir, why it is just like this and this hole is conducting, why we are using this even. Okay, it is not like this. If you are having this pen, the whole area, I am saying, okay, this whole area, you can see that it is bounded with it. If I wrap around it a tape, what happens actually, it goes outside. Imagine going it inside. Okay, like this one, it becomes a gate. Okay, so like this happens in the inside, it becomes a closed gate. You are having only one junction, but the whole methodology is like that. It is inside the UJT. When you are applying voltage to it, it starts opening and current starts. Okay, so what happens in the construction nature, UJT is slightly doped and silicon bar provided with ohmic resistance on either side. That means you are having ohmic resistance from upper level to middle and middle to lower. Okay, there are base 1 and base 2 resistance of N type, and there is an emitter, that is what I am saying, that is wrapped around it inside. Okay, and the inter-base resistance can be broken up into two resistances, that is B1 to the emitter, that is RB1, and the resistance from B2 to the emitter, that is RB2. This is where we are talking about that from B2 to this emitter junction and from B1 to this emitter junction, that is already given here, RB2 and RB1. Okay, since the emitter is closer to B2, RB1 is greater than RB2. Okay, and total resistance is given by RB1 plus RB2. This is the equivalent circuit that is found with the UJT, and when we are applying VBB, that is we are applying base to base, then only there is a forward voltage, this is okay, and there is no forward or reverse becomes in this, because you are applying at the same thing. Okay, it is only switching on when we are giving it a pulse from E gate. Okay, the UJT is normally operated with both B2 and E positive biased relative to B1. Okay, and B1 is always the UJT reference terminal, that is this one. This is always the reference model. We are applying voltage to this and this according to the I mean referring to this point. Okay, this is how the VI characteristics of it looks like. You need not to go in the deep because it is not that much in your course. So what actually happen is that when you are applying voltage, it goes high into the negative resistance region and it drops down when you have applied E2 voltage. I mean when you are applying EVB1, then that is giving you the less resistance, and after the current is reached, it gets into the saturation. Okay, on state of the UJT and off state of the UJT I have already explained. When we are applying on state, that off state, that means it is really closed, and when you have applied E voltage, it starts opening up and it starts into turning on state. That is already explained in this. As the VE is increased, the UJT is in the off state until V approaches the peak point value VP. As VE approaches VP, the PN junction becomes forward biased and begins to conduct the opposite direction. That happens when we are applying VE, that is we have applied voltage on the EE, it starts getting close, and when it is very close, it gets bricked and the current starts. And when we are applying IE in the positive nature, then the curve starts from when V is exactly equal to the VP and the emitter current equals to IP. When I have applied EVP more than this, then the current that is flowing from I or IP, it becomes equal. Okay, and after that it becomes conducting. Off state is again the opposite of what we are saying here, and this efficiency of this called is intrinsic strain depth ratio is lies between 0.5 to 0.8. That is why we are using UJT for the gate pulses. Okay, because of this much efficiency we are having of the gate pulse output. Okay, let's skip this. I'll explain it more in the ratings. Why we are having this rating? Because it has very high amount of rating pulses that can be used to turn on the higher power devices in the power electronic devices formulas. Okay, the maximum peak emitter current represents the maximum allowable value of pulses emitter current. Maximum reverse emitter voltage gives you the reverse base junction given at junction B2, and maximum interbase voltage, this limits the maximum power that the n-type base bar can safely dissipate. Okay, these are the applications that it is used to trigger SCR and triac. It is used in non-sinusoidal oscillators. It is used in phase control and timing circuits. It is used in sawtooth generation. Sawtooth generation is this triangular wave but more peaker. Okay, and it is used in oscillator circuit design also. Now this is IGBT that I guess today's lecture is over, but we will study in the next class. Okay.